before we go to the solution, you talked about the need for building a human being. What are the things you think that we need in order to be able to do this? First of all, what we need is to teach people psychology. Ordinary, not modern psychology with all the different forms and so on, but ordinary psychology. Who man is simply behavior, a person with himself, a person with the environment, a person with a family, connection between people. How does nature arrange us to be in contact between us? How does nature, through its general law, cares for the right kind of connection between the still vegetative animate and people for them to live together in the same, all in all, eco-structure? Especially, of course, it's through a person's perception, through the feeling of how does a person perceive his world, how does he develop. We have to teach a person who he is, and that's lacking, first and foremost. Even though that it seems to us that we're dedicating hours to it at schools, but the quality of knowledge, we see that afterwards nothing stays. What do we need in order for something to remain and for a child to be able to use it later on? We're lacking the right direction using all this knowledge. All of these insights, this knowledge has to bring us to the understanding of how do we correctly connect with each other in order to become a friendly society, homogeneous society, where there is place in it for everyone. And not that he's black, he's white, he's Spanish, he's Ethiopian, and men and women, and more. Immediately there are differences, and so on, and separation. So this is actually what we have to try and do, erase the differences between people. Besides one thing, that we appreciate people to the extent to which they contribute to building a homogeneous society. And this is something that we have to show the kids immediately, that this is according to what we appreciate you. The more friends you have, the more peace-loving you are, the more you can calm things down and connect between people and create a good, comfortable atmosphere and so on. And why is it that specifically this is the most important component that's missing, so that all the knowledge that children are given today, that it could operate a person and turn him exactly? Because if we know how to be in the right kind of connection between us, then all the knowledge that each one of us has, we can connect it and thrive. What do you mean? Because then we'll be able to work in groups and societies in a way that we will be able to really give good results. What's the connection? Of course it's connected. Do you know how many achievements, great achievements humanity has to this day that different companies hide from each other? How much we could advance were we friendly towards each other between the different governmental bodies, and you can look at our government. Anything that comes there, first of all, they look for a way to bury it. I want to go back to schools because with the government it's clear to everyone that nothing's working. No, no, it's an example. It's a result of the strongest people. It's an example for the strongest people. This is why they came to power, and look what's happening. Because they weren't given the right kind of education. Were their power and ego given the right direction, what could we see instead? And if to apply this at school, that school has to turn each and every class into a friendly society, interconnected with each other, where everyone supports everyone, that accordingly you get the grades, accordingly you study and feel how good things are. It's from the very moment that a person goes to school. Today a person goes to school, and school is like a, I don't know what, it's like a war zone. People are beating each other up and cursing and whatnot. That's school. What is there to learn there? Therefore, plenty of people prefer different other forms of education. To what extent is the aggressive atmosphere, violent aggressive atmosphere at school, to what extent does it influence the student's ability to perceive the studied material? 100%, 200%. If a child is under pressure, can he listen? Can he hear what the teacher is explaining? Previously, you said, if you can explain this, you said that if we'll know how to have the right kind of connection between us in the classroom, we'll be able to connect all of our knowledge and thrive. What do you mean? Of course, because today there is no single person that discovers some phenomena in science. Today it's big groups, teams working together. Research institutes and so on, great big laboratories like with the collider and so on. It's impossible to do it on your own. There are 200 mathematicians, 300 or 500 physicists, and so on and so forth. Plenty of people. So, if they know how to work together, then you get a result, because you can't do it on your own. What we have to do, and look what's going on, look at startups. What's a startup? A few people who have an idea, but the main thing is the connection between them, that each one of them can add to the others, and they brainstorm, and they come to something. Especially in our times, this approach, the attitude of connection, that connection begets new phenomenon. We can see it. Therefore, the main thing for us isn't turning every child into a know-it-all, but look what's happening in family life. People get divorced. What parents don't want to have grandchildren? They want for the child to grow up, get married, for him to have children, and for them to have grandchildren, and to enjoy them. And look what's happening today. So what does it have to do with the classroom? To teach them how to be connected with other people, including in the classroom, including in the family, in the future family they'll have, and so on. And this is why I said that psychology has to be taught as a constant subject throughout their entire education.